Excellent. Thank you very much, George, and thank you very much to Tiger Brokers to talk about a story I'm very passionate about, and that is lithium plus minerals.
Excellent. Thank you very much, George.
So lithium plus is a very simple story. It's all about high impact lithium exploration. We have secured a strategic land package in one of the hottest lithium fields in Australia. The tenement package was acquired in 2018. That's important because it was acquired before the current land rush to secure lithium assets. Immediately adjacent to our tenement package is a mine operated by Core Lithium. Over the last 3 years, Core Lithium has gone from a market capitalization of $20 million to $2.4 billion in just 3 years. And the land that we have is very, very similar to the land that they have developed in the last 3 years. So we are very excited about the potential of discovering a number of lithium deposits, which over time we intend to bring into production to be the next producer of Australian lithium. The key takeaway on this slide is a very, very tight share structure. 48% of the shares on issue are escrowed for 2 years. Importantly, as a cornerstone shareholder, we have secured the support of the largest battery manufacturer in the world. CATL, or CATL, is a global leader in the battery space, and we are delighted that they are partnering with Lithium Plus to invest in us and to provide the capital we need to fund our exploration programs. So CATL, with a 9% shareholding, is a very important strategic relationship which will benefit not just their company, but also our company in terms of developing these projects. Our market capitalization is modest at just under $70 million, and we're well funded with $8 million of cash to aggressively explore our tenement package, and we hope to create real value for our shareholders over time. Lithium Plus is actively drilling. In fact, we'll be drilling for the next 6 months. That means we will have continuous news flow, and we know that news flow announcing positive exploration results drives share price performance. Right now, we have 2 rigs on the ground drilling for lithium. If you look on this map on the right-hand side, you can see the blue shading. That is the tenement package owned by Core Lithium. Core is the Australian lithium company I mentioned earlier, with a market capitalization of $2.4 billion. So that small shape there represents $2.4 billion of lithium mining value. The Lithium Plus tenements surround Core Lithium, and you can see our tenements marked out in brown with the names of our deposits marked in red. So we have between 6 and 10 very, very exciting lithium deposits, which we are drilling out at this very moment. I'm pleased to say that our first drilling program resulted in our first discovery. Our first discovery intersected good intercepts of lithium, and we're now drilling our second and third prospects, and we have very high hopes for those prospects indeed. This is a cross-section of our first discovery at a prospect known as Lay. What we show here is high-grade, thick, juicy intercepts of lithium pegmatite. We've had intercepts ranging between 43 meters, grading 1.4% lithium, 28 meters at 1.5% lithium, and earlier this week we announced a 31-meter intercept, and that intercept will be assayed, and we will report the results to the market shortly. But this really does highlight to us the potential to define a very interesting deposit, which we believe will be developed into a mine in the future. Importantly, the drilling we've done on this property has given us confidence to believe that the geology we see on our tenements is very, very similar to the geology on our neighbour at Court Lithium. Okay, this really talks about the location of our tenements. And we all know that location is very important. Location is important because the best place to find lithium is in a prolific lithium field. And this is the premier lithium field in the Australian market. Location is important because you don't want to find a deposit that is too remote. In our case, we are located less than 50 kilometres from the town of Darwin, which has port infrastructure, road infrastructure, and power infrastructure. So that means that any mine development we proceed with will be a low-cost mine development. This slide here talks about the work that's been done on our top 6 prospects. I mentioned we've commenced the drilling at the Lay prospect and also the Perseverance prospect. And both of those drilling campaigns have resulted in very interesting intercepts of lithium pegmatite. I think it's also worth noting that the first drilling program resulted in a bullseye. And what I mean by that is that we hit the high-grade, thick zones of lithium-bearing pegmatite on our first drilling campaign. So that bodes very well for the future as we explore out our properties. The other thing to note here is that over the years, we've done a lot of the early stage exploration. So utilising techniques such as soil sampling and ground penetrating radar, we've done the work, which means that we've identified where to drill, which means we can spend the next 12 months actively drilling our tenements. I like this slide because it shows you on the bottom right-hand side a picture of outcropping lithium pegmatite. And we see this type of topography throughout our properties. What we find is the lithium pegmatite outcrops its surface, and then utilising other techniques such as ground penetrating radar, depicted here in the image above that, we can correlate the best places to drill. And in our case, we drill below 50 metres below surface, and from that point, we intersect the fresh rock, which has the mineralised lithium pegmatite. So it's a very, very simple geological model. It enables us to easily and quickly identify the right places to drill. And it's really just drilling below outcropping lithium pegmatite, which has proven to be very successful for our neighbour, Core Lithium, and to date has been very successful for our exploration program. This is another one of our prospects. In the pink, you can see the drilling that's been completed by our neighbour at Core Lithium. They've intersected a very thick zone of lithium pegmatites, and the work we've done on our side of the boundary, depicted here in green, indicates to us that the lithium-bearing pegmatite extends into our side of the tenement boundary. So again, this is a very exciting prospect for us to drill out over the coming months. In terms of our strategy, in summary, what we show here is a 12-month exploration program. All of the early stage exploration has been completed, which means we can now focus on continuous drilling into the foreseeable future. The company has an objective to publish a maiden JORC resource by March of 2023. And what I mean by a JORC resource is a very detailed report which will confirm the existence and the size of the deposits that we are drilling out. So it's a very important industry report which we publish, which will give the market and investors an understanding of how big the deposit is and the grades within the deposit. So this will be an objective of the company to publish in March of 2023, and following that we'll continue to drill out further prospects to expand the size of our resources. I'd like to spend a few moments talking about our relationship with the biggest battery manufacturer in the world. You may be familiar with CATL, CATL, a very large, a very reputable Chinese battery manufacturer. We're delighted to partner with CATL. They're the global leader in battery technology, and they supply 32% of the world's lithium batteries. We know that CATL is growing and expanding quickly, and they are hungry for lithium to supply their batteries. And we're delighted that they have chosen to partner with our company, Lithium Plus, as a potential supplier of their very successful and rapidly growing business. This relationship came about because the chairman of Lithium Plus, Dr. Bin Guo, has known CATL for many years. In fact, has a long-standing relationship with their chairman, which has enabled very clear and very close communication from chairman to chairman. And I think this bodes well in terms of partnership as we seek to fund our mines in the future and negotiate potential supply agreements with CATL. I'll just spend a few moments talking about our board. Firstly, Dr. Bin Guo. He's our chairman, he's executive chairman, and also the largest shareholder. Dr. Bin Guo has a very, very good reputation for finding and commercializing lithium deposits globally. In fact, in many ways, he's a world expert in lithium and has worked around the world studying and discovering lithium projects around the world. My background is commercial. I'm a former banker with Macquarie Bank, a very large international investment bank. I was with them for many years, and more recently, I built up a $1 billion renewable energy company, which is currently under a takeover bid. So I bring to the board, I believe, commercial skills and work very closely with Dr. Bin Guo on the commercialization of the discoveries that he makes. On the technical team, we're also delighted to have Dr. Jason Burton. He's a structural geologist, again, has a very strong track record with discovering ore bodies globally. And in fact, Jason and Dr. Bin studied their PhD together some 20 years ago at Macquarie University in Australia. So a very, very strong team and partnership just with Bin and Jason. Of course, we heard from George Su a moment ago. I'm delighted to have George on the board. He brings a very, very strong business acumen, very strong connections into the business community in Australia and China, and has a very solid commercial head on his shoulders and provides some very good strategic leadership to the business. And finally, we have a very strong management team led by Dr. Bryce Healy, who leads the exploration efforts on the ground in the Northern Territory. I won't spend too long on this slide. I think this audience will understand that there is a very, very positive outlook for the lithium industry, driven, of course, by the growth of lithium batteries that supply not just electric vehicles, but the electrification of everything. This has meant that the price of lithium, the price of concentrate and lithium carbonate has increased quite dramatically over the last 2 years. However, we think that the growth in demand is likely to continue for many, many years as more and more vehicles convert from petrol and diesel to electric. Of course, in China, there are a significant number of electric vehicles already on the road, and now the West is catching up, and there's now rapid growth in terms of electric vehicles in Europe, America, and Australia, which will further drive the demand for lithium, which will provide a very strong commercial backdrop as we commercialize our deposits. So look, in summary, what I'd like to suggest is there's 6 points you should remember about Lithium Plus. Firstly, location is key. Our deposits are located less than 50 kilometers from a port, very close to roads, and very close to power infrastructure. That means our mines will be low cost to develop. Point number 2, our tenements have outstanding geological prospectivity. We are surrounding and operating lithium mine. We have very similar geology to our neighbour, and we have already identified a number of significant lithium deposits, which we will drill out further and we'll hope to develop into mines into the future. Point number 3, we have a very aggressive drilling program planned. We will be drilling our deposits aggressively over the next 18 months, which will drive news flow, which will expand our resources and will give us the confidence to develop these mines for the future. Point number 4, we are blessed to have a very strong relationship with the biggest battery manufacturer in the world. CATL is a 9% shareholder. They are hungry for lithium, and we hope to develop that partnership to be a major supplier for their battery products for many years into the future. Point number 5, the team, the board and the management team have a proven track record of discovering, commercializing mineral deposits. Dr. Bin Guo is a global leader in lithium, and he provides a leadership to our team, and he provides a very strong commercial background to our team and very strong guidance. And finally, point number 6, exposure to Lithium Plus provides exposure to the battery transition, which we think will provide very strong outlook for investors and people in the industry over many years. And finally, this photograph was taken on Tuesday on site. Dr. Bin Guo on the right-hand side, standing next to me in the middle, and on the left-hand side, our exploration manager, Bryce Healy. We're up at site inspecting the drilling program, and we're very pleased with the results we're seeing, and we'll have more news to announce to the market shortly about the discoveries we're making up in Northern Australia. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Simon, for that. I probably should add, I also worked with Dr. Guo while I was the head of Civic Securities for Australia, and he was a very important team member. Because you have run over time, so I can only allow one question from the floor, from the audience. And this is a easy or the most difficult question for you to answer, typical from our retail investors. The question is, how many times the share price you believe LPM will go up?
I think the way to answer that is that we're responsible for delivering exploration results. We've got the best properties in Australia, we believe, and I believe positive news flow confirming commercially attractive lithium deposits will drive that news flow, which will support the growth in the share price over time.
Well answered. Thank you for that. Next, we'll have Bevan, the Managing Director of Octava Minerals, to present the Octava story. Bevan, your turn.
Okay, thanks very much. Many thanks to Tiger Brokers and Richlink for the opportunity to provide a bit more information about Octava Minerals. My name's Bevan. I'm the MD and CEO of Octava, and Octava is a recent listing, so we're a much earlier phase company than Simon, but we hope to emulate some of the great work that those guys have been doing. But I think Octava also presents a very good early opportunity to get exposure to lithium and other battery commodities. So Octava is a Western Australian-based explorer, and we focus primarily on the green energy metals of lithium, nickel, PGMs, and gold. We've been around, we formed in late 2021 and we listed on the 16th of September on the ASX, where we had our IPO, which was very successful. And now we're hitting the ground running at Octava. standard terms. So I'll just talk about our projects first up. We've got three key project areas you can see there, the Pilbara, the Kimberley and the Midwest in Western Australia. Our key project is the Talga Lithium project up in the Pilbara, which we're earning into 80% of that project, and we've got 211 square kilometres of land holding in the Pilbara. There's been very little previous work for lithium carried out at the Talga project, but it's got some great credentials in terms of location, which I'll touch on a bit further down the track. But we've got some good neighbours there, and there already has been sort of pegmatite with lithium mineralisation identified in the tenements. Talga also has an interesting gold project because it's obviously in a greenstone granite location in the Pilbara, so it also has potential for opportunities for gold. Our second project is the East Kimberley project, where immediately along strike from the Future Metals Panton nickel PGM resource of 5 million ounces, and we're immediately to the north along strike. So we've got a similar geology to the Future Metals deposit. Our third project is Yallalong. It's in the Midwest of Western Australia. It's about 220 kilometres northeast of the port of Geraldton. This is an early stage prospect, but has good potential for nickel, copper, PGMs, and also rare earths, and it's located along the western edge of the Yilgarn Craton, a similar geological setting to Julimar, and with the mafic, ultramafic intrusions, recording elevated anomalies there for nickel, copper, and PGM. So you always hear location is key, and it is very true. We've got a fantastic location for our Talga Lithium project in the Pilbara. There's a number of substantial high-quality lithium producers in the Pilbara currently operating. As you can see there, Global Lithium, Pilbara Minerals, and Mineral Resources. So we've got some really good quality geology for targeting lithium mineralisation. You can see we're surrounded by a number of key players operating in this field and conducting exploration as we speak. But there's been very little exploration for lithium conducted. So there's a lot of upside for Octava. There's a substantial lithium deposit located only 10 kilometres to the south. And we've got a sort of a similar geology located at Talga to this deposit. We've already identified multiple targets for lithium mineralisation across the tenement holding, and we're on the ground getting into the work that we need to do to prove up these areas. A little bit more on the Talga project. Previous exploration about 6 years ago identified lithium, but at the time the market wasn't appropriate. So very little extra work was done, but it's only 10 kilometres from the Archer lithium deposit, as I mentioned. And so we're very keen to get to work on the ground there. And with a similar geology, we think we can find another Archer deposit at Talga. We've recently completed a 2,000 sample geochem soil sampling and also geological mapping at Talga. And these samples have been submitted to the laboratory for analysis. So as I mentioned, we're currently assessing a large number of pegmatite targets to progress towards drill testing the most prominent targets. There hasn't been drilling for lithium at Talga previously, so we're very keen to get to work, and we've got some promising targets to start with. So to help fast track our exploration, we've conducted portable XRF screening over our soil samples. The portable XRF basically provides an indication of lithium via correlation with a suite of elements. It's a commonly used tool in the industry, and it certainly gives a good indication of the potential for lithium in a region. When we look at the results from our portable XRF, what's really pleasing to see is that there's a large number of elevated results around our Pinnacle Well prospect. The area is over 1.5 kilometres in width and in length. So that's certainly, we're very pleased with that outcome, and that certainly gives us an immediate target to get on the ground and start investigating. Through the XRF, there was also a number of additional elevated lithium targets that are identified within the wider Talga area. And these also will be followed up on the ground by field investigation. As you can see there, it's quite a large tenement holding, and large areas of the tenements remain untested for lithium in any form or shape. So there's a lot of opportunity there. You can see our tenement holdings cover the granite and greenstone contacts. So the greenstone is the geology through the middle. The granites are the pink areas on the north and the south. So these are one of the key requirements for lithium mineralisation in the Pilbara. So we've certainly got a great land holding. It's got the right geology. The early signs from work we've done are giving us a lot of confidence going forward that we can uncover something that's really exciting at Pinnacle Well and at Talga in general. Obviously, infrastructure in the Pilbara, it's been a mining area for a number of years. The Talga project itself is less than 2 hours from the port of Port Hedland. It's a fully sealed road. It runs through the tenement. Marble Bar Town is a great accommodation and supplies opportunity, only 30 minutes from site. So this makes conducting exploration much more efficient and effective. There's no camping out bush. The guys can stay in the town, drive out and back each day. So it's really good. There's established lithium processing operations close by. And as I say, it's a great location to be doing exploration at the moment. I'll just touch briefly on some of the other projects. As I mentioned, there is an interesting gold prospect at Talga with Calidus Resources Warrawoona gold mine. It's only 40 k's to the south. And there's also the Bamboo Creek deposits only 15 kilometres to the east. There is good potential to uncover something on the gold front, and we'll also progress the gold story, but obviously our key focus is the lithium. Our second project is the East Kimberley, which is in the far north of Western Australia. It's near the Halls Creek origin, which is a tier 1 nickel sulphide PGM province. Our prospects up there have all recorded strong nickel, copper and PGM geochemistry. And one of our tenements you can see there is located immediately to the north of the Panton PGM nickel resource, which is 5 million ounces of PGM3 equivalent. And we've got the same geology that runs into our tenement. So that's an exciting prospect that we have to get to work on. There's also the Panton West prospect there that's never been drilled before, but it's got some really strong soil and rock geochemistry results. So again, we're keen to get in there and do some further work up here. And, you know, we've also had some discussions with Future Metals about some synergies in that region. So an interesting project. Our third project is in the Midwest of WA. As I mentioned, about 220 kilometres north of the port of Geraldton. This is an interesting area. It's basically the northern end of the Darling Fault, which is a sort of a new exploration opportunity in WA that's really been kicked off by the Chalice Julimar discovery. We've got nickel, we've got PGM and copper and rock chip results, which are very interesting and certainly warrant follow-up, but there's been very little exploration carried out at Yallalong to date. You can sort of see from the magnetics, there's a number of targets already identified. So we'll be getting to work at Yallalong as well and seeing what we can uncover at Yallalong. In terms of exploration, as I mentioned, our focus is on the Talga Lithium project. So pegmatite mapping and sampling and a geochem soil program has recently been completed. So we'll be putting out some results from those in the near term. We're also bringing forward, aiming to do some drilling on the Talga Lithium in Q1 next year. We have all the government approvals in place. We're just finalising our heritage, and then we'll be good to go early in the new year to put the first holes in the ground for lithium at Talga. So it's an exciting time for us. Just a quick snapshot. So we're a tightly held company. There's not a lot of shares on offer. We've got a couple of key shareholders in Fuyang Minjing and Southeast Minjing Supply. These are a couple of cornerstone investors for us. It's a fantastic outcome for both sides. They've secured a good entry opportunity into a potential future lithium supplier, and we've obviously got the some expertise and financial backing from players in the industry in China. You can sort of see our enterprise value is low. Our capitalisation is only 9.2 million. Our shares are currently sitting around 20 cents, I should say. So it's a great early stage opportunity to get into the to a lithium opportunity, and we look forward to really putting out some good results in the near term and really developing the Talga Lithium project. Just a quick note on the board. Clayton Dodd, he's an experienced resource operator. He's been on a number of boards and had directorships. He's currently the executive chairman of Octava Minerals, who are looking to become Australia's first PGM producer from their project in the Midwest. We've also got Mr. Damon O'Mara, who's a very experienced resource operator. He was one of working with his father, Dennis O'Mara, some of the early founders of Atlas Iron, Kalamazoo and De Grey. So Damon's a very experienced operator in the industry with a large number of contacts, and he's also non-executive director of Naria Metals, which is a nickel operator in WA as well. Myself, I started my career as a geologist in exploration and mine operations before moving into commodity sales and marketing. I was with Rio for over 10 years, and I was part of the startup team at Roy Hill. So I think we've got a good blend of experience and corporate leadership at Octava, and we'll certainly look to develop the company. So just to wrap up, we've got some really good projects that are in some fantastic locations. We're focusing on lithium, but we also have PGMs, nickel and gold. Talga, the location, only 10 kilometres from Archer Lithium deposit, which is 10 million tonnes at 1%. We've got a similar geology, and we've already confirmed there's lithium mineralisation at Talga. We've got the pegmatites. We just need to get in there and do the work. So, yeah, obviously aggressive exploration will provide us with a good news flow to update our shareholders in the market with what's going on. And you may have seen, we just put out an announcement this morning that on the XRF results. So that's just the first of a number of releases that we'll have coming up in the near future. So that's my presentation, just in time.
Thank you, Bevan, for staying with your time limit.
Yes,
and
I hope it wasn't too rushed.
There's actually one question for you, maybe a very early question as a exploration company. The question is from an audience, LM Sunshine, and the question asking, when do you expect your first production and sale of product?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, everything going to plan, we will be drilling early in the new year. So, you know, everything being successful with our drilling, we would hope to be developing a resource story at Talga by sort of mid next year. So, yeah, once that happens, you can move quite rapidly into production in the Pilbara. There's a number of opportunities there, but our focus will be getting the drills on the ground early in the new year and looking to prove up a resource up there.
Right. Thank you very much. We all know lithium has two main sort of mineralization. One is the spodumene, and then we also have brine. The next company presenting takes us to South America, and it's definitely worth the wait. I'll have Mr. Jerko Zuvela, who is the managing director of Octava Minerals, to present the company's presentation. Jerko, please.
Thank you, George. Yeah, thank you, George, and thank you to Tiger Brokers and Richlink Securities for allowing me to present to you all today. As George said, we're a little bit different to the previous companies. We are in Argentina, in the so-called lithium triangle, where a majority of the world's lithium carbonate, which is used for the battery making process, is produced mainly in Argentina and Chile. And we are in that environment. We have progressed to a development stage. We have started construction of our 2,000 tonne per annum operation. We have built a plant. We are currently in commissioning, and I'll run through our operation. This is a picture of the site where we use the evaporation ponds, where we pump the brine from the salt lake into the evaporation ponds, concentrate the brine, and then that concentrated lithium brine goes into the processing plant, and then we produce lithium carbonate. You can see another picture there from our site there where the salt lake is. You can see where the drill rigs are, the pumping wells. You pump the brine from the salt lake into the ponds, as I said, and then you take that concentrated brine to process. We are looking to build a top scale tier 1 lithium production company. We have an experienced team. Processing lithium brines is very much about technology. We have developed the technology through our local partner, Pablo Alaralde. Pablo was with a former lithium production company in Argentina called FMC. They are now called Livent. They are a large scale New York Stock Exchange listed company producing over 15 or 20,000 tonnes per annum of lithium products. He developed the technology for Livent. He's listed as the first inventor on the patent for FMC's or Livent's technology, and therefore we are very confident in our local partner Pablo and the strategy and the pathway we have chosen to develop our project. It's very much focused on the technology, proving that technology. We did that via building an industrial scale pilot plant, which has produced over 30 tonnes of battery quality lithium carbonate. We have sold over 25 tonnes to customers in Japan and Korea and also in Argentina. And obviously with that success and that technology pathway, we are now operating or constructing and in a commissioning phase for the 2,000 tonne operation. And obviously what we are looking to do from that is to move to a larger scale operation and progressing to an additional 10,000 tonne per annum operation. And we'll start looking to build that in the first half of next year to take our production capacity to 12,000 tonnes per annum. We also have a lithium project in the US next door to the Silver Peak operation, which is the only lithium carbonate production operation in North America, owned by Albemarle, which is again another New York Stock Exchange listed company, very large company. We will become only the second ASX listed company to produce battery quality lithium carbonate. So we are very excited over the next few months to get into production. And given lithium prices have escalated dramatically over the last 12 or so months, up to about $80,000 per tonne for lithium carbonate at the moment, we think our 2,000 tonne per annum operation is very lucrative, generates a lot of revenues and a lot of cash flow, and that will help us to move and develop the 10,000 tonne expansion as well. This is the location of our project. As I said, we are in northern Argentina, the Rincon Salar in the Lithium Triangle, and the Tonopah project is in Nevada, next door to the Silver Peak operation. That is more of an exploration project, but obviously the US is very much focused on critical minerals, lithium being a key part of that. So there's a lot of opportunities to develop a lithium project in the US and feed into their supply chains as well. That's just a quick corporate snapshot. Currently share price of about 58 cents, market capitalisation of $815 million. Lots of money in the bank. Good shareholding support from the board and management and our top 20 shareholders. And obviously we are very much aligned with how lithium prices have moved over the last 12 or 18 months. As we get closer to production and realising those potential sales revenues, our share price has performed similar to the lithium price movement over the last 18 months. That is our board. We have a non-executive chair of Mel Randall, myself as managing director. We have two engineers in Bruce and Peter as our non-executive directors. They have built and developed ASX listed companies in the past, have a lot of success. Mel Randall has been a proven performer with many large companies and junior companies as well. And as I said, our local partner is Pablo Alaralde. He's the president of our local subsidiary called Puna Mining. He's a partner in that as well. Him and his family have a 10% shareholding, free carried as part of that technology expertise that Pablo brings to the company. Our 2,000 tonne operation moving into production, development is about 98% complete, commissioning at 86%. We are currently commissioning. We expect to complete the commissioning and production test works by the end of the year and starting continuous operations from early next year, and hopefully achieving steady state operations soon thereafter and sales of that lithium carbonate product during that first quarter, second quarter next year. Obviously, as I said, lithium prices are at record highs. Therefore, it is a very good time to get into production. We feel the best value lithium companies are the ones moving into production because they'll be realising the very high lithium prices, and that will generate a lot of free cash flow for us. It will also de-risk the 10,000 tonne expansion, and it would also help with our offtake arrangements and strategic arrangements for long-term offtake with tier one partners in the battery supply chain. That's just some pictures from our operation. We are producing primary lithium product at the moment that will be further processed into battery quality lithium carbonate as we complete our commissioning phase of works. This is the 10,000 tonne expansion. It will be built next door to the 2,000 tonne per annum plant. We will complete the evaporation pond works and conduct the construction works for that and the plant from early next year. It will probably take about 2.5 years to build that operation. So over the next few years, we'll be producing lithium carbonate and expanding our operations. That is the timeline and pathway for that process. And obviously, we are also looking at further expanding that production profile greater than 12,000 tonnes per annum upon our further drilling works to expand the resource. That is our project location in the Rincon Salar. You can see our tenements where we have currently built the 2,000 tonne operation, where the evaporation ponds are, and where the plans are for developing that expansion project. We have very good infrastructure in our site. We have natural gas pipeline running along the highway. In green there, the highway's alongside that pipeline. We have a national grid running alongside our project. We have solar parks being built next door and not too far away. We have a railroad that is about 20 kilometres away that runs to Buenos Aires port and also the port of Antofagasta in Chile. So very good infrastructure allows a lower capital cost to develop our project. So that is very positive. We have small industrial towns not far away for providing services and accommodation during construction periods. And as I said, we have 2 solar parks where we will be able to tap into to secure green and renewable energy to our project, which not only makes our product suitable for the EV sector, but also providing that in a very clean manner with low emissions and low carbon requirements to have a clean product to sell into the sector that is trying to decarbonize the world. As I said, we have a very minimal environmental footprint, very low energy use, very low fresh water consumption, and we are able to recycle that water as well to make it very, very environmentally effective. Our chemical process technology does not consume a large environmental footprint, and we are able to do it with low carbon emissions, which is obviously very positive for those companies that are producing EVs and require a low carbon emission product from us. We are reducing, with the ESG, environmental, social and governance, we are committed to that. We are reducing our environmental impact. We have a strong community and social responsibility program that we have developed over the last 5 years. We are very much focused on committing to our local communities, our stakeholders, supporting them, and also our governance is strengthened by being a public company on the ASX, which is requiring companies to increase their governance requirements and protocols, and that's where we are very comfortable moving in that regard as well, to be able to have a strong commitment to ESG, not only today, but also as we move into production and over the longer term as well. We're also very committed to expanding our resource. We are currently drilling at the moment. We expect to be able to increase our resource. By the end of the March quarter, we hope to have an updated and increased indicated resource or JORC resource. We have some exploration targets that we have developed from our current works. We have drilled deeper than what we've expected currently, so we will hopefully not only achieve, but extend beyond the exploration target that we have developed. And that way, that will allow us to increase our production profile, as I said, beyond 12,000 tonnes per annum, and really develop a long-term sustainable production operation for many, many years from our project. Just quickly on our US project, it is very much an exploration scale or exploration stage project, located very close to the Silver Peak lithium operation. We are still at exploration stage, so we'll be looking to do some exploration drilling works next year. We have identified some aquifers there to identify where the brine is located, so we'll be targeting that from the drilling operations next year. Just with our upcoming milestones, we will complete the commissioning works this quarter. We will ramp up and progress to steady state operations next year. We will finalise our strategic investment arrangements for the capital requirement to move to the 10,000 tonne expansion development phase. As part of that, we will also deliver on the offtake arrangements for the 2,000 and 10,000 tonne battery quality lithium carbonate product with our strategic partner. We will get the final approvals for that 10,000 tonne expansion, and then we will start those development works for that expansion to go to 12,000 tonnes per annum over the coming years. And we expect to increase our JORC resource and production capacity and mine life with that resource expansion drilling we are doing at the moment. Thank you very much for your time. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Jerko. Very exciting story there, getting close to production. I do have quite a few comments and questions for you. The first one is really comments, but I think maybe for you to address it anyway. Coming from Eric, he observes that you don't have an offtake agreement in place. Would you mind to comment on that?
Yeah, we have been very strategic about that. We are trying to align and leverage, given the demand for product is very strong at the moment. A lot of key battery participants, electric vehicle companies are all very desperate for lithium carbonate product. Therefore, we are trying to leverage that and secure the strategic funding that we need to build the 10,000 tonne expansion project. So we are working on that together, and we hopefully will expect a finalisation of that over the coming months to not only have the offtake locked in, but also the strategic investment for the 10,000 tonne expansion. So hopefully over the coming months, that will all be completed, and we will have a strategic partner that will be purchasing our lithium carbonate product from the 2,000 tonne per annum operation, and also the future 12,000 tonne expansion, 12,000 tonne operation with the 10,000 tonne expansion.
Yeah, that's very strategic. The other question talks about your resource. So in addition to expanding your current production capacity, will AGY consider acquiring new lithium properties in the future?
Yeah, so obviously we are focused on the Rincon Salar. So we have been looking at opportunities in that salar to acquire more tenements. So we will continue doing that as they are available. Obviously, looking at other opportunities for other projects is something we are also considering, but really our focus at the moment is very much on developing the Rincon project. We have a good land holding. We will have a very strong resource. We'll have a very long mine life. We'll be able to increase that, increase our production rate. So very much our focus is on getting into production and realising these super high lithium prices over the coming years. And that's where we think we'll be able to add the most value to our company, and not only add most value, but increase our value to becoming a production company. The second ASX listed production lithium carbonate production company behind Allkem. Allkem are close to a $10 billion company. So there is a lot of growth for us to achieve by moving our project into production and expanding that production and achieving a lot more value for the company that way. So that is very much our focus, but we are looking at other opportunities also as well.
Right. The last question, given the time, I'll combine a couple of, I think it's talking about the same thing. What is the purpose of your presenting today? Are you looking at raising capital, given what is required for you to go into the 10,000 tonne per year production development?
No, very much about just further expressing our stage of progress at the project. Any marketing is always good marketing, especially to the Tiger brokers and Richlink Securities audience. That's a good opportunity for us to share our current status of our project. We will not need to do a capital raising at the moment. We have more than sufficient funds to keep on progressing our project. And as I said, what we are looking for is a strategic partner to provide us a prepayment for the capital that we need to develop the next stage of the project. So that is what we are working on at the moment. Until that is completed, and where we think that will provide a full CapEx financing solution for us. So it's very much about sharing that information, sharing our project status, and that is the key focus for today.
Terrific. Thank you, Jerko, for your presentation and the questions answers. With that, I think we'll conclude today's meeting management of ASX Lithium Company's session. There's actually one question for me to talk about Richlink. Richlink is just a financial services company helping Chinese investors to invest in Australia. I'm the CEO of Richlink Australian operation. I'm very pleased to have the opportunity to present these wonderful Australian companies to you today, working with Tiger Brokers on these exciting opportunities. 老虎证券的同事们，你们有什么需要补充的吗？ If no, this concludes our today's session. Thank you for everyone presenting, and thank you the audience participating in today's session. Until next time, goodbye.
Great. Thanks very much, George.
Thank you. Thanks, George.
Thank you, Bevan. Thank you, Simon.
Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
Jerko. Next time, Jerko, you're in Sydney. Let's meet face to face. Otherwise, maybe we can have a Zoom link up. I just want to follow up with your story and see if there is any opportunity we can facilitate some strategic investment.
Anytime, George, please feel free to give a call or email anytime. Thank you.
Terrific. Cheers.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.